The article is named Rethink the Master Plans, and it is a very good article on the urbanization part of GS1. It has highlighted three major things. First, why we need upgradation in the master plans of our urban planning, in the urban planning. Second, what are the major lacuna in the current master plans and current urban planning approaches, and third, what are the way forward, or what are the changes that are needed in the urban planning approach we are adopting now. So first question, why there is a need to upgrade our urban planning process. First, to meet the goal of Viksit Bharat of becoming a $30 trillion economy by 2047, as cities need to be accommodate and proactively enable this growth. Second, to meet our net zero climate commitments by 2070, and affecting the reducing the GHG emission by 2030. Third, to reap out the maximum benefit of demographic dividend, these cities have to become the place for opportunities, job opportunities, and a healthy living standard for the most of the young population, which come as a migrant to these cities. And fourth, the level of disasters, the effect, the vulnerabilities of the current cities, because of their high density, are put them in the most vulnerable situation to any kind of disaster, which was very evident in the pandemic time. Now, the what are the lacunas in the current master plans in our urban planning? First, our urban planning is too much focused on the uh, land use land use planning. Basically, what urban planners do is they try to predict, based on the past trend, the predict the upcoming demographic pressure on our cities, and then they largely plan the level of infrastructure, the kind of infrastructure they need to build in the upcoming years to accommodate this population pressure. But this is but the urban planning should not be limited to such land use planning, just to land use planning, and needs to grow above that and cater the dynamic and the current needs of the current needs of the cities. Second, our urban planning process is very limited to larger cities, which leads to alienation, or the left leaving out concrete plans for the tier 2 tier 3 cities, which are needed to ease out the pressure in the local areas, in the backward regions. So there is need to create robust plans for tier 2 tier 3 cities. So these were the two problems in the current approach of urban planning. So what are the steps that are needed to be taken? So first, we need to move one step ahead of the current planning system, which is limited to land use planning, and we need to envision how these urban areas can become a model of economic growth. The people move to such cities in search for jobs, for better living standards, and thus city needs to have a economically robust economic plan to cater these needs. At present, there is no mechanism to factor in the rapid growth that country currently aspires in the urban planning, and hence an economic vision is needs to be outlined. Second, there is need for natural resource budgeting exercise, which needs to cater to the very pressing problem of decline in the natural availability of the natural resource in the currently growing cities. Cities are facing shortages of these natural resources, and hence a natural resource budgeting exercise is needed. It should also plan for a demand management measures that ensure optimal use of these limited natural resource. Third, our cities need to have climate action plan to meet our goals of 2070 and 2030, and need to counter the effects like urban heat island effect, or the urban floods, flash floods, which act as a major hindrance to the socio-economic activities in the cities. Fourth, we need an environmental management plan, because our cities currently are ranked in one of the most polluted cities in the world. The major pollution which hit our cities are mainly air pollution and water pollution, which is very evident from the status of New Delhi NCR region during the Diwali season, when AQI shoots to level to hazardous and most hazardous levels. So we need such environmental management plan. Fifth, we also need a disaster management plan. Each city need to have disaster management plan to avoid avoid and to adopt and mitigate the effects of disasters, which disasters, and rebuild and recover from them as soon as possible. Sixth, we need a comprehensive mobility plan, because the urban there is has been huge surge in the urban transport and the private transportation, which have two double impact negative impact on urban cities. First, the congestion issues, which leads to lower productivity, and second, the pollution issues, because the transportation sector is one of the biggest contributor to air pollution in our cities. Seventh, we need to have an economic planning model for not for just for the city area, which is limited to the administrative boundary, but to the nearby contiguous areas. We need to understand the link between the suburban or the rural which grow on the fringes of these administrative boundaries, and thus what we need to have an integrated economic planning for these areas when we plan for our urban cities. And lastly, eighth way forward is to have what we need to have is change in our educational programs, which can develop such talents, which who can propose best practices for the development for the urban planning in our cities. These eight steps, if taken seriously and actively, if steps are taken in these directions, we can rethink our cities as the economic growth hubs for a Viksit Bharat.